podcasts. One is Recovering Perfectionist Mama, Grace in Progress, which is a psychology channel. The other one is Grace and Gavel, where truth meets compassion. Today, we're talking about when assumptions become the story. Everyone thought that they knew what happened. One of the most fascinating things about unresolved cases is how people decide they understand them, sometimes within hours, sometimes without all the evidence, which how can you know anything about a true crime case when you aren't actively involved in the case, when you aren't researching the case, when you aren't looking into the case? No one automatically knows what's going on with the case until they research it, until they read the facts, and until they understand, because facts are the most important thing. Sometimes without all the evidence, and once a theory takes hold, it can become incredibly difficult to separate fact from assumption. And you know what they say about assumptions. So ultimately, a lot of us deal with the idea of fear versus paranoia. We imagine that there are serial killers at every corner waiting to harm us. And that makes us paranoid, right? As well as the public interpretation. Now, let's be honest. The average layperson who's not an attorney, not a prosecutor, not involved in the legal system, likely does not fully understand the ramifications of the legal system, right? Additionally, there is the idea of a 911 call analysis. Most of us are not able to actually analyze what a 911 call actually entails, what it means, the ramifications of it, and so on, right? As well as cognitive bias. A lot of us seek information that confirms our own biases, right? As well as an attorney perspective. Many people are not attorneys, right? So attorneys spend 3 years in law school. Prior to that, they've gone through undergrad. Many people can get what are called LLM degrees, which are like essentially like maritime things and things like that, which are more specialized. And so ultimately, a lot of people are not legally trained to or understand how the legal system works, which can be a definite disadvantage when you are trying to understand legal cases, as well as evidence versus narrative. There's almost always a narrative. Somebody is going to try to poke holes in somebody else's idea as to what's occurring, why it's occurring, all sorts of things, right? And evidence is king, right? Narrative is generally opinion or facts that may or may not be corroborated. Corroborated means able to be proven. The cases where human behavior became the mystery. So Patricia Meehan, Maura Murray, Brandon Lawson, right? A lot of these cases are about people who walk away. Why did they walk away? What did they have going on in their life? For instance, Patricia Meehan, she was in a minor accident. And so then she ended up with witnesses present, walking away. She has never been conclusively found. Maura Murray was in New England, okay? Maura Murray was a student at West Point who was potentially dealing with credit card misuse. She also was dealing with an issue with her sister. She was dealing with an issue with her boyfriend. She had apparently packed up her items, which is what has been told. And so she was waiting for a potential honor code violation for credit card misuse. And that, all sorts. So she was under a lot of stress, let's be honest. So ultimately, people walk away for various reasons. They walk away because they feel like their life is over, or they feel like, what can happen from here? I've already screwed up. I've already failed. Why am I starting now? Additionally, you have the confusing part sometimes of witness interpretation. Most of the people who are witnesses are not forensic psychologists. They're not psychologists in any stretch of the imagination. Additionally, there is something called psychological ambiguity, which is certain people have different reactions to certain stimuli, right? So ultimately, it could be in the gray area as to how they're feeling, as well as stress responses, right? If you've just been in a car accident, your adrenaline's likely high, you're dealing with all this, maybe fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, and then unresolved cases grip us because as humans, we want resolution. That is extremely important to our brain. So I just want to say thank you for tuning in to Grace and Gavel, where truth meets compassion. My name is Buffy. I'm an almost 18-year criminal defense attorney, and I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. If you got value from this, please feel free to like and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope that you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye-bye.